Hi everyone. So now that you have seen that how you can implement routing in your React application, right? So you can click on watch list, you'll move to watch list, you can click on movies, you'll be back to your movies component like that. So now it's basically the time to build these components independently, right? And then we'll basically build this movies component first, then we'll build the watch list component, and then we'll see that how you can transfer data between two components, right? So all of these things are in the pipeline. But first, we need to design them, right? We need to actually get this particular design. We need to show this banner. We need to show all of these movies like that. And to show all of these things, first we need to design our movies component. We need to build this from scratch, right? So if you see right now in our demo, we haven't built anything, right? But basically in our app. But if you see the demo, so over here, everything is built. So now you see that you have this banner in your movies component, and if you scroll down, you have these movie cards, right, where all of the different movies are shown with their name and with this emoji button, right? Like that everything is. So basically, if you divide this particular movies component into two different components again, right, so that we can divide it on a banner component and we can divide it on this trending movies component like that. So we should have two components so that we can separate both of these sections out. So that's what we'll be doing. So first what we'll be doing is we'll be going to our components over here, new file, and I'll create a banner.jsx component, right? And I'll just call this as React function component export. I have a function component and I'll just call this is my banner, right? And now this is a component. So what we need to do over here is we need to render this out in our app.jsx. So let's move to our app.jsx over here. And now you see that we need both of these components, the movies component as well as the banner component, in this same route, right? So is this possible to render out multiple components in a same route? Yes, of course. You just have to use React fragments that you have already used, right? This is your React fragment. It's wrapping all of your components, different multiple components together. So you can just use a fragment, right, like that, and you can just put this movies component inside this fragment. And now we have our new component. Our new component is this banner component. So we'll just import this banner component and we'll render this out inside our fragment over here, just like that, right? Inside my element property, I'm rendering two components inside this fragment. So now let's check this out. So if I go to my app, so over here you see this is my banner, which is coming from the banner component, and this is movies component, which is coming from the movies component. So now we have two components, right? That's what I was talking about, that this can be one component, your banner, and this particular section can be another component, which will be a movies component, like that, right? So we have these two components divided. Now let's start building these components one by one. So first we'll build a banner. We'll build this particular part so that it can show an image with the name of that particular movie, right? So first let's try and design this. So what I will do is I'll just move back to my app.jsx. I'll just format this so you'll be able to read this in a better way, format. And now you can see banner movies. This is automatically added by React, so you can just ignore this. And now we have our banner and movie. So first let's talk about this component, that is your banner component. So let's go to our banner component and let's start designing it. So first, if you take a look at the demo, you will see that, okay, this is a image, and there we have a particular design, just a transparent kind of a strip which shows the name of the movie. So we have to design a banner like this. So what we will do, we'll move back, and inside this particular div I'll just remove this text and I'll just give this particular div the style property, right? So in React, you can give this style property as there is inline CSS in style. Similarly, in React, you can have this style prop and give your CSS properties to it. But here, you'll have to give it in object format. So what is object format? Key value pair, right? So basically what I will do is I'll just give this property. You can access any CSS property over here, right? But yes, you have to give this in object format. So if I just give this div a background image, and for this background image, what I will do is I'll just assign a URL to this. I'll just assign a URL to this and I'll just get this from the internet, right? So if I go over here, I've already selected this particular image, right, which is basically a movie poster right now. So first we'll get this image and we'll design our whole part statically, and then we'll see how you can get that from your API, right? So first let's just design this statically with this static image. So I'll just copy the address of this image, and what I will do is I'll just provide this to my background image URL, just like that, right? And I guess this is done. Now let's check this banner, that if we are getting that image or not. And let's refresh movies. Yeah, we are not getting that image because we haven't assigned any uh, height or anything for this particular div, right? So let's just give this div a little bit of height, and we'll be giving this by using tailwind only. So what are the properties that we can give to this? We can give this some height, we can give this some width. First, let's just give this some height only, right? So over here, I'll just give this some height of 20 view height, let's say like that. And now we see a little image over here, right? We see the image, but it's still not sufficient. It's not giving you the entire image. So first, let's give this some medium height of 70 view height. Let's just give that particular part to it, right? Let's just give this some height, great. And now let's refresh. This is not taking the entire image. Why is that? So we have given the class name as mdh70 view height. Okay, I have missed a hyphen, right? You have to provide the hyphen over here. And yes, so now basically you see we have a 70 view height image. We have a 70 view height image, but still this image is not at the center. I mean, we need this image to look like this, right? Because we are not able to see anything like that over here. So what property we can give? Yes, if you know CSS, you must be knowing this, that you can give this a property of background cover, right? So that it can take the entire image for you. And yes, now you see the entire image is visible over here. Also, I'll give this background center, so everything can be at the center as well. So I'll just provide this BG center, just like that. Let's check this out. Yes, everything is at the center, but still this looks a little bit cutted out from here. So what we can do is we can give this some flex properties, flex, and we can just say items, and let's refresh. And basically let's increase the height a little, right? So for we have given 70, we can just give 75, then it should be fixed. Yeah, great. So now basically that height was overflowing, so that's why this particular part was not visible. But now as we have increased the height, now your whole complete poster is visible, right? So this is how we can do this. So this is how we have designed our banner. So if I just go to my movies component, so this banner is designed. Now the next thing that we need is that particular strip over here, which you see, right? This strip which shows the movie's name, right? So this particular strip we need. So that is also pretty much easy to create. So what you have to do is first, let's just create a div for that, right? Let's just create a normal div for that. So inside my div, I'll just create another div, the child div for this div, and I'll just provide this with a random name right now, right? Let's say, right, static name I'm providing it. So I'm providing it Avengers End Game, something like that. And let's see if this is visible or not. Yes, it's the text is visible over here, but it's black in color, right? So we need to give this a white color. So let's give this some white color. So for this div, I'll just give this a class name, and I'll just give this text white. And let's make this text a little bigger as well. So I'll just give this text Excel. Great. So now you see Avengers Endgame is visible over here with a little bit bigger font, and now you have the name of the movie. So we need this at the center, and we need to provide this a little background kind of a thing, right? This particular kind of a thing, the transparent background kind of a thing, right? So let's provide this. So what I will do is I'll just give this background to gray, right? So I'll just give BG gray. All of these properties are coming up from Tailwind, right? So feel free to read about this in their website. And I'll give this just background gray to 900, and then I can just give this some value to 60, and I'm not able to see that transparent mode, right? So I'll just give this BG gray, right? BG gray to 900, and we can just make our text center before that. So my text is not going at the center. Maybe we can give the full width, and then it will go to the center. So width, let's give it full, right? Yes, so it is at the center right now, and now we need that effect, right? This particular effect. But I guess the poster color is similar to that, that's why it's overlapping that particular thing. So I'll just make a different background color for now. So I can just give it background to blue, let's say. And yes, I'm able to see this bluish kind of a color, and then I can give this background blue to 9060, and we can just, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So now we can give this the background blue. You can give it anything else, right? Let me just give this background black. Okay, so this is also getting overlapped. Let's keep it blue right now, just for now, right? You can change the color whenever you want. Let's keep it background blue, and this is basically a bluish kind of a strip that we have created, similar to this, right? And this basically shows the name of the movie that's currently showing, that is basically Avengers Endgame, right? So this is how we can do it, and now we can basically, to increase this particular size, we can give this a little padding as well. So I'll just give this a P4 padding 4. Oops, over here. Great, so we have given this, and now this basically seems like this particular box only, right? Just that transparent effect is not there, and we just have a blue colored strip, right? So we can basically work this around. So let's try to give this gray once, and let's see if this is working. I mean, this should work. Why the gray color is overlapping, I don't know. Yeah, it actually looks a little bit grayish kind of a thing over here, right? If I remove this gray, let's check if something changes. No, basically that poster color is overlapping that color. Alright, we can keep it like this only, right? This doesn't look bad either. So this says Avengers Endgame, and we have this particular part, right? So feel free to change your fonts as well if you want to change your fonts, right? If you want to change the size, anything that you want. So I'll just make this 2XL so it looks a little bigger, and not 3, 2. Right, so it will look a little bigger, and you can change your font family as well. So over here we have used some different font family, that's why the text is a little different from that. You can choose your own font family, you can choose anything that you want, right? So this is how we have created our banners component, right? So banner component is done pretty much, and then basically when we'll build our logical part, so then we'll see that how you can get real-time poster details from your API. So for every new releases, these poster will also keep getting dynamically changed, because right now what's happening over here is this is we are taking a static image, right? We're just taking a static image, right? But yes, to design this was pretty much it, and the banner is designed. And in the next lecture, we'll be talking about this movies component, and we'll design this particular part, that is your movies part, right? Thank you.